because we know we're talking about evergreen and the algorithms of
Yep.
YouTube. So we'll just give it a minute, mate. If you can just give me the heads up when we're streaming
I'll
live
just having a
there.
look now.
The bar is feeding across. Welcome to live, folks. We're live. Okay,
Yeah.
4 minutes behind. Let's get straight into it. Folks, thank you if you're joining us live or watching the recording to our little eXp discovery session. And today we've got an incredible special guest that needs no introduction by any means because her story is one of absolute inspiration. Somebody who's part of this incredible opportunity that we're partnered and aligned with. So today you're going to hear it firsthand from a high performing and producing agent. In fact, a little bit of background on who this co host is. In 2024, she was our #1 ranked agent nationally for total transactions and volume. So that just speaks volume as to the volume of business that she does. She's the #1 agent for performance and production in Western Australia. She's building a business and brand by design, a lifestyle that she's carving out as her own. She is a luxury expert agent, and she's building out a team and an organization through this model and vehicle that we're aligned with. So, without further ado, Lee Smith from Western Australia, thanks for joining us on this week's eXp Explained.
You're
Oh,
on
just
mute,
take
Lee.
yourself off mute
Good
there. Sorry,
start.
Lee.
You're right. Go for it. You're still on mute, Lee.
Hang on. Let me unmute. Can I unmute it?
Yeah, you've unmuted me now. Can you hear
Gotcha.
me?
There
There
we
you go.
go.
Oh,
Welcome, welcome,
We're off and
welcome,
running.
welcome.
thank you. It's good to be here. In the world. Sorry, my background's different. Had some
Cool.
technical difficulties in the beginning.
That's all good. No session goes without a little bit of a 1% tech little interesting saga to kick things off. But we love the branding. It's your brand, which we'll talk about today, right? We can see up there your proud Lee Smith logo, Lee Smith Realty. We'll talk a little bit about the eXp Realty luxury arm to your business and what that's doing for you. But I guess for people that are watching this live or the replay, give us a little bit of background on who you are, where you've come from, where you're at, and what your business looks like.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm based in Mandurah in the Peel region in Western Australia. I worked for various franchises over the years, and I worked in real estate here as well as in the UK, where it's slightly different models. So, and I ran branches there as a manager. Um, Came back. I went back there for 4 years, came back in COVID and joined a franchise that I'd been with before. But just was really wanting to start on my own. I looked, and then I made the jump. September 22, I left the franchise to finish my diploma, and started looking at different models of where to go, whether to go completely on my own or to get a franchise or to partner with somebody, or looked at platforms. I looked at everything, did a whole analysis because I wanted to do it right and I didn't want to change again. So I looked at lots of them, and then I went back to eXp because a friend of mine had told me about it 4 years before, and re-looked at that model. And yeah, it was just a no-brainer, really. It was a no-brainer. When we did the numbers, everything, that gave me the freedom to build my brand my way, but have that collaboration, and it's been better than I expected. So joined May, what are we, 2023, so just over, or nearly 2 years, sort of, sort of 18 months or so. Joined May, and it's just been the best thing ever. And then when luxury launched in January last year, I jumped on board with that model. Yeah, so
Awesome,
that's
awesome.
brief, very
I
brief.
love I love your catchphrase, different by design. And it's, no, it's a testament to you why you do so well in your business transactional wise, because you are somebody who is very thorough and diligent in everything that you do. Okay. So I appreciate having been on your side before myself when I was part of a franchise model and a business owner and all that stuff. when I moved, I only wanted to move once too myself, right? So I did a lot of analytical research. I remember the spreadsheets. I had all these spreadsheets
Yep, that's
comparing
me.
models, networks, brands, all this stuff, and broke it all down. So when we do these explains, right? Tony and I have done some where we talk about the deal and the support, and we sort of try and convey what others externally might not be aware of that's available with new era models such as ours. But just give me like what was the first one or two things that grabbed your attention about eXp? That was because for me, why I joined is maybe different to you, and why Tony joined is different again. What were the first couple of things that grabbed your attention immediately about the model?
Okay, so the first couple of things was when I looked at everything, I wanted my own business and I wanted to do it my way.
Okay.
So I didn't want to be told you have to do this, you have to do that. I started going down the road before that with another model, and it was like, no, you want to tell me how to do everything. So I wanted to do my own, but I know how important branding is. So I wanted to do something that aligned with me, but had that I could still have a really good brand to run alongside. Okay, so that and the fact that I didn't have to employ a trust accountant
Okay.
and a sales administrator. So it just was a no-brainer. I didn't want to do the trust account. There's no way with high transactions, it's bad. You still always do admin anyway. You still got to do a lot of stuff yourself anyway. But I didn't want to have that trust accounting model, and I didn't want to employ somebody. And I looked at that and went, 25,000 is pretty much 28,000 really is what I'm paying in it for a trust accountant and a sales administrator. I don't have to do their tax. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to worry about getting it all right with demurs knocking on my door. So those were probably the two initial things that grabbed me.
Yep.
The fact that I could connect with people nationally, internationally, and from what I could gather without being in it, because obviously until you're in it, you can't really experience. But from what I'd
Yep.
seen, and I'd watched Lisa do it for 4 years in Portugal, I thought they really do collaborate. Because there's
Yep.
all this thing, yes, we collaborate and we share and we do which and it's just a nonsense in the industry with a lot of people and a lot of models. This and people say, oh, we global or whatever, but this to me was a genuine model that I could use, especially having lived in the UK, brought up in South Africa. Australia's probably where I've been most of my life now. But so those were the first things that grabbed me.
There's a lot of points with your journey that resonate with mine. I found office environments distracting. I wasn't as productive. I like working by myself because I get a lot more done, but I still wanted to collaborate. I still want to be connected with our industry and agents within the industry. Absolutely. And Tony can attest to this, the amount of times I've said on these sessions, I do not miss paying my full-time accounts administrator for accounts payable, receivable, and trust account administrator because those wages in Australia add up quite quickly in any business's bottom line. Tell me a little bit about let's dive into luxury, right? Because you've done a bit in this space. You're a pioneer in Australia, eXp Realty, launching in the luxury space as a global, reputable and recognised brand. What have been some of the real benefits of you aligning Lee Smith Realty with the global footprint of eXp Realty Luxury?
Well, so some of the benefits, there are more benefits to use than I've had because I'm so transactional, but it has given me that, when you've got your own brand, and even when you've got somebody behind you, and maybe because the XP wasn't that well known and around, in Australia yet and in Western Australia. But when you selling a premium brand of your own and you doing all the, premium marketing and things like that, to bring in that takes away the people, saying, well, that person's on their own, and it's a genuine international portal. It's not just, I don't want to use a name of a franchise saying, yeah, I'm, the person that works in New York, they could refer people to me. This is a genuine portal where you're not selling, oh yeah, we've got people. it is launching out to all these websites. You've got the premier listing presentation that you can give to people, so it just gives you that edge on the brand, and it's genuine. It's not just fluff to get a listing and say, well, we've got offices in New York and we've got offices here, there, and everything. Because at the end of the day, we all know we get very busy and often referrals fall apart. Glenn has created a system in where we can do proper referrals in the back end, and then now the luxury takes it to the next model, and you collaborate with people that are true international luxury brand agents, wherever, California, these people that have done it for years and years and years and have that, you've got masterminds. So it gives you that edge because you're always growing, no matter how accomplished you are. You can stop growing if you want, but there's always lots to learn and keep growing. And so for me, that was the big thing. I still had people I could really tap into and expand my mind and grow, and then filter out to help mentor people coming through.
There's a great point, Tony, we haven't covered off with luxury before. We often talk about the 50 plus publications you get access to, the really cool marketing suite that's really automated with your brochures and designs and, what it spits out to you. But the masterminds, like I'm not a luxury agent, but Lee, I could imagine if someone approached me that had a luxury qualifying property, I would love some mastermind, some training or support around that. And I know we consider Australian real estate to be quite luxurious, but when you get a $25 million price tag in Double Bay of Sydney, that's quite high. But when you go to LA and there's a $125 million sale, like what is truly luxury? And if you could leverage the power of people that are selling bigger by higher value that have been doing it longer than you, that's really the opportunity with the eXp Realty Luxury Network, not just the systems and the workflows, but the added benefits of tapping into the masterminds, like you said, and actually learning from, because I know a lot of agents, they fall into the luxury space. They get that one listing and they think, I'm a luxury agent. I've sold $2.5 million home. I'm now the luxury agent.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more behind it that goes into it than that long term.
And it's not just that, because it is price point wherever you are, because, there's some places in America, like you say, in California, it's just unbelievable, but then there's a ranch, in some place that we don't even know that's 500, but that's luxury, the way it's finished and that. So it's an education as well. And because just that really grabs my curiosity as well. So, and we can refer, if you've got developers, you've got people that are here that are, from Portugal or wherever, and they may have a luxury home back there that they've decided, okay, they're going to sell it because they're going to stay here or whatever, or they want to buy a luxury holiday home or whatever, or even not, you can still go through that portal. But you do learn a lot from them because it's not only on the luxury space, you're learning a lot about, branding, and just different presentation, different models as our world gets smaller in a sense because of technology.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing from Lee Smith so far, got the full license, come in, wanted to run your own business, not be told how, when, what to do things. You kept your own brand as your goodwill, which is your name. You own your intellectual property forever and a day. It's your business. You're essentially leveraging eXp Realty to power your business along. So it's taking care of all those redundant subscription costs that a lot of traditional environments bill for, and or resources in staffing costs, obviously. You're leveraging the eXp Realty global luxury brand and footprint and the presence that brings. Let's talk about the deal. I call it the deal. Tony and I call it the deal on our little eXp Explains because that's what a lot of agents are after is the deal. Now, as we know, our agents are on 75% commission split up to $100,000 in gross commission within their work anniversary year. And that's no royalties or franchise or any additional fees come off the top of that. Now, you're an agent, let's be honest, you've been on 100% commission more than the most, right? I think you're on about 100%, 9, 10, 11 months of the year, thereabouts. Tell me what that does for you, right? Because I know there's a lot of agents out there that watch this stuff that are stuck on 50% year after year with no performance incentive to increase their remuneration, irrespective of production. What has 100% commission done for you, your business, your cash flow position, and your lifestyle?
Yeah, and I think it's it's not only, I mean, it's not only when people go 50%, 100%, it is more than that, because on a 50% or a 60% or whatever you're on, call it 50%. So in a lot of traditional things, you still got to pay your own, super. You've got to pay your franchise fee, less 6 or 9% or whatever it is on some. You've got to pay this, and that. Technically, you could be coming out with 35%. So let's get real. If you do the numbers, people in their mind go, I'm on 50-50. No, you're not. So 100%. The first year, the first one I joined, I think I did it in 3.5 months or something.
Yeah.
So for me, that was it. I paid for the whole year of my trust accountant and sales administrator and that done. And then it's like, oh wow, that's it. There's 275. That was the only transaction fee. So for me, it's allowed me that freedom to put into the business, because I think, we can just, so I've been able to go to the conferences. I went to Miami to eXp Con, didn't even think. So I've done that. Went and been able to put in all the systems that I want in my business. I've been able to, do things for ourselves, holiday, my young adult sons, being able to help them, and just really put back in and into the community as well, help the local church with the schools, packs and things like that, things that drive me, that make me feel good. So it's not, to me, it's not about holding on to everything. It's about being able to give back. And it's allowed me the freedom to look at things like, mentoring and stepping back. So, because at the end of the day, I've always said, just do everything, put your foot forward, and the money flows, So if you do the right thing, the money flows. But this gives me the thing where you can step back and not be stressed too much. Like, I've got to do the 4 sales because I've got to pay this and I've got to pay that and I've got to do that. And it gives you the freedom to start mentoring and doing people, because you're not worried about taking the time out of your day, because you should be doing prospecting calls, So it just allows me that freedom. And it's just attracted a lot more as well, I think, just because I feel better and I'm more confident and I'm able to give. So it attracts back to me.
Love it. What I'm hearing there is it's enabling you to reinvest back in yourself in your business, right? And I
Yeah.
think there's this huge misconception in our industry that it's, a lot of preaching about turnover and volume and not necessarily take home. And it's not about keeping more and retaining more. Yes, that helps the back pocket of the household, absolutely. But it is, if you could just retain an extra 10, 15% in what you're generating with revenue as a profit, and you can put that back into your business, whether it's with marketing or prospecting initiatives, or as you said, mentoring, coaching, getting along to that seminar that you previously couldn't afford. That's what it's all about. It's not trying to hold on to it by keeping more and saving more. It's about where are you diversifying and how can you reinvest into other areas of your life and your business. So that's incredibly inspiring. Let's talk about eXp has a global revenue share program that is highly lucrative, and when you get a taste of that, it's like that first 100% commission check. You think, God, that tasted good. I want more of that, right? So you're somebody who you attract like for like. You're very entrepreneurial. You want to build a team and an organization, but you don't want to directly employ people, but you want to replicate what your sponsor's done in bringing you into the model and network. Tell me a little bit about your aspirations in the revenue share program that eXp Realty offers.
Okay. So the revenue share for me was yep, that's a good. I looked at that, and that was the final thing, was that perhaps I could. That's like an exit plan later, for when you're
Yeah.
retiring, something, because the one thing in real estate is, we all know, you're only as good as your last sale. Then you've got to go out
Yeah.
and get something out, and that continual, and the market can be really good, but then the market can, there were many years where you sit just hoping somebody would come through a home open, so it is that, like, feast or famine, for want of a better word, that people use
Yeah.
in the industry. And so that's the downside of it. It's hot, and then you just got to keep going. So that was okay, I'll get to that. But I also wanted to make sure before I shared that I knew fact that, so I did the year, I did my, made sure that it was exactly as it said on the tin, and it was better. And so now it's a natural thing. Like, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not join?
Yeah.
So, but for me, it is the long term where I can start to help others grow business. So not
Mm-hmm.
only, and that's the way I get money. I can get paid for that without taking from them, like the normal
Yep.
franchise model. And if I'd
Yep.
employed somebody directly under me, then I have to do the 50-60 or whatever, split. That way I can teach them to build their own business, build their own brand, go on to, have a good life. And then I get rewarded by eXp for looking after them. And it means I can start to free up. So instead of having 12 home opens like I've got coming up this weekend, I can have 4 and share them out with people, and share the leads and share that. So I guess, does that make sense?
Tony, pause that section on revenue share because that's one of the best explanations I've seen about how you can just get paid by a company, eXp Realty in this case, to help others build their businesses and find success in their companies, but there's no weird commission sharing. I don't think it could have been summarized any more perfectly by you, Lee. And look, we can go into the 7 levels and the percentages and all that, but right now, that's a great summary from a transactional agent's point of view of how long term, rather than just feast or famine on transactions, what you can do to build something that is that eventual exit out of the industry. I think that was, mate, just edit that, and that's our rev share explanation done, I think.
And of course
Lee,
the shares you get.
well, yes, let's talk about that because I don't know how many times you've icon now. You've doubled icon this year, and I don't. What are you 4 times icon? I think now you would
No, no,
be
no, only 2
3,
because I couldn't do
2.
that because you got to count it.
Oh,
And
I
yeah,
can't
so
keep up with your
on your
numbers, Lee.
anniversary, and I haven't been here 2 years, and so I've
Right.
capped,
Okay.
and I
Wow.
twice. So now I've got to wait all the way till June before I can cap an
Right.
icon.
Okay. Well, because you're
So
just doing such high performance, it feels like you've been here for a decade, right? Because the numbers you do, it takes some people a decade to achieve that. But let's talk about what it means for you as an icon agent, like shares, equity, NASDAQ, EXPI stock code. I know I get some agents that are like, is that for real? Like, well,
yeah.
number one, we are a public listed and traded company. I don't know if you know what the NASDAQ is, but just look it up. It's a serious, stock trader. But tell us a little bit about what that means for you as a transactional agent, having the opportunity for equity in stocks.
Oh, well, when I did the icon, I just was like, oh, okay. And then I got my little trophy thing that you always get in all the
Yeah.
agents. But then I get, an email, whoop, you've got shares. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And then obviously you do the icon sessions and commit to the community and got more. But, I've got a nice little nest egg sitting there. And again, that's something that I wouldn't normally have had. Some people do invest in shares and that, but they're
Mm.
sitting there. It's not like some super fun looking after my thing. They mine. Every time one of my team perform, I get that. So it's another reward. Just, yes, trophies are nice and it's nice to get recognition, but this is something that I can have as a legacy. So to me, it's a legacy business. It's not just about me, going forward. You've got to start to think about the right thing to do is you've got to leave the next generation better off than you were. So, that's a teaching. So it's help, it brings all those things. But if I want to at some point cash them in because I need to do something, I want to buy a property or I want to, renovate or do anything or lend it to my children, I can. But it is just all those additionals that you forget instead of being in a model where it's take, and oh yeah, well, you've got to pay your own super, but we just make it look like this so the ATO thinks that you paying your super, that we paying you super. It's a give model. So, and you can feel like, no, that sounds too good to be true. So it is just another form of income. And that's the thing you get taught that, multiple streams of income, but most people can't do that without doing 2 or 3 different jobs and then you do none well, you know? So
Yeah.
to me, that's just another stream. And yeah, it is great. It's like, oh, well, look at that, you know, and it's like almost like a kid in a candy store. Oh, I got some more.
Yeah, got
So,
to accept them.
and I think it's very good because it brings about a culture about how you recognized as being what, you know, your achievements without just getting a trophy and being able to fluff it on social media, because you become part of a group of icon agents internationally. So you communicate together and it's a real drive to share, to refer, but also the culture feeds through to give back to the community. So, you know, yes, you give back into your own little community where you can teach agents and that, and then you get some more shares. So, you know, to me, that is a really good culture as opposed to, you know, and then obviously because I went on the agents advisory committee, then I get that as well, but it's helping and you're creating this culture of collaboration, support, and upliftment.
It's really interesting because I'm a bit like you, Lee. I never was invested in stocks, right? I sort of put my money in bricks and mortar because that's my business, right? It's what we do. And you know, it wasn't until became part of eXp, I went into my Okta account and logged into the Morgan and Stanley app, who are our financial auditor, and I seen it and I was like, wow, this stuff's live. I can see what's going on here. And ever since then, you know, once you start making money in something, you think, I better start learning about this a little bit more,
Yeah,
right? And since then, I've actually learnt more about the stock market than what I ever did, right?
yeah,
Because I just was complacent, call it comfortable. I never went into that space of stocks. No, I just don't know it. You know, I remember my accountant even saying we should probably diversify some cash flow here into stocks and shares. And I said, no, Darren, no, 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 not my space. I don't know it. I don't understand. I only invest in what I know. But now that I've had that, I've actually been going into my super account and diversify my own superannuation and how that's being invested in you know, blue chip stocks here in Australia versus abroad overseas. And it's been a great journey, but I guess it's the learning too. It's not just about the value in the asset that you can cash out, buy, sell, and trade. It's actually that it's opened my mind up to diversify and invest in other areas of my life that I probably never would have if
yeah,
this opportunity through eXp Realty wasn't available in that space.
yeah. And I think the other thing on that side is it might not be for everybody, you know. Some people, and that is the beauty of the model as well, because you're not driven to feel I don't know, you know, like if you're in a normal model when you're in a sales meeting and that, and the person just, you know, they keep getting recognition and that's fine. But you just somebody that, you know, maybe you don't, maybe you work, maybe you've got young kids and, you know, you say you don't want to go more than 3 listings or whatever, but you love your job and you love what you're doing and you do a good job, but you feel pushed down. Whereas I think in eXp, it's up, that's your brand, your way, your business. You know, even if you're not building your own brand powered by eXp, if you're a commission only rep with eXp, you're still valued as part of the community and you still, you know, recognized and it's your choice.
Let's talk about like the most common things I get from agents when coming over is the deal. We've spoken about that on the way in.
Yeah.
That's 75% up to 100 grand, 100% there afterwards. You and I pay, irrespective of licensing requirements, 275 a monthly subscription to be bolted into this model and opportunity. Another thing we get like is what's the support like? What's the systems like? What's the marketing like? What's the collaboration like? Now, rather than hearing from Tony and I, who are in corporate, I would love to hear from you, from a high volume transactional agent. How are all those things provided to you and your business within the model?
Okay, so well, number one, I think we have the best trust accountant ever. So
I did hire her.
oh, you
I
did.
hunted
There we
her.
go.
I hunted her.
Okay.
I hunted
Oh,
her.
yeah. So I think it again because of the way the model is set up and because of the culture and because we pay the membership, we are we are basically more like clients, okay, than when you go to trust accountant or your sales administrator when you're working in an office or and they kind of like, no, you got to go talk to somebody, you know, or it gets pushed to the side. There is that set, they get turned around straight away. I've never had contracts done as quickly, and that's also our contracts lovely lady. So the contracts get turned around quicker than most sales administration offices where I've worked in, and the trust accounting, it's all left done. So I just know it's done, you know, and if there's any little thing that they're not sure about, I get asked straight away, you know, is this confirm, email, done, workplace chat. So yeah, it's all there. The marketing's there. Obviously, because I have my brand alongside, I do that, but you've still got to follow the brand guidelines. But you're not told you have to do this. You can see my brand quite clearly. I use the eXp or the eXp luxury on luxury properties. So the marketing's there, but for people that don't have their own brand, that are just commission only reps, it's all there, everything's there. And now we have Canva Pro. So for the people that love Canva Pro, I mean, you know, that's part of the subscription. So if you add all that up for the 275, like it's a no-brainer. RP data, you know, trust accountant, contracts, listing, you know, send an email saying my listing's ready to go live. It's all good to go. Bang, you know, probably the maximum is an hour that I've waited for somebody to come back and say, yep, all done. It's now live in all the portals. You know, the suppliers are all put in the back office for you to tick what you want. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. So up your data.
Who does this better than us, Chris?
Yeah, we're not needed, mate. I
We've
think
got a
we're
new
out of a job.
recruit.
We're out of a job, I think, mate, going forward. I guess we're coming up to 35 minutes, and Tony and I generally keep these between 35 and 40. So you're actually ahead of us. If there's an agent watching this live or the replay and thinking where you were before this and where I was before this and partnering, you don't know what you know until you get inside or explore or have an open mind and willing to just explore things done differently. Like, what would be your advice to an agent who's maybe stuck where you were previously? What would be some words of encouragement or just guidance to say, start here. This is what I wish I would have done earlier. What would you suggest to that agent that's watching this, that's on the fence?
On the fence, I would say don't ask anybody's opinion.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter, you know, if you ask people they will always give you the story. I know when I left, you'll never make it. I have had my
Wow.
best year ever.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and when I left,
Did you send that person a
I had a
thank you
buyer's
card?
agent and I had a PA, so I had a team. Just don't ask people's opinion, feel it in your gut, take that leap of faith. What have you got to lose?
Yeah. Or do the
What have you
crazy
got to
Excel spreadsheets that Lee did in comparing and benchmarking everything
yeah,
against
you
everything.
don't have to do all that stuff. I've done it for you.
Okay, so just reach out to Lee and say, give me your spreadsheets, please, so I can have a look at what you've looked at, because I'm probably going to look at the same. But I think you raise a great point there, Lee, too, because, well, we know what opinions are like, and there's a saying we can't say on live
No, we can't
television
say that
about that.
online.
But, you know, it's so true that so many people miss opportunities because they're influenced by others. And there's something that's super empowering that when you actually venture out into something on your own, how much you actually back yourself and how much you can actually accomplish and achieve, right? It's like that Australian fighting spirit that exists within us. But I think that's one I haven't
And
heard before, Tony, about don't listen to others.
One other point, when I went to, my only fear was because you're always told it's the brand that you know, what are you going to do about leads and things like that?
Yep.
And a person lists a property with you. Yeah, the brand might get you in or whatever, but how many leads do you actually get and how many do you give away? Whereas as soon as you're out there, you meet the people, you drive your business the way you want to.
Brilliant. That's some fire right there in those tips. Tony, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but I think that's a great way to wrap up today's session, is believing in yourself as the brand, and Lee's a testament to that. She's had her best year from walking away from many of the big brands, I'm sure, in your area. You were doubted, you were speculated, you had opinions telling you were going to fail, and here we are talking about the wealth you've created, your branding that you've created, your own business that you've created, and all the other abundant stuff that we started off. Tony, anything you can just put, icing sugar on top of that? I don't know.
No, I think you've done a wonderful job, Lee, as our first agent guest. You know, we've set the bar very high. Thank you so much for your attendance
Thank you.
here today. We will look forward to having you back again, I'm sure. But hopefully for those that are out there considering models and looking at eXp, give Lee Smith Realty a Google, find out what she
Yep.
does. A remarkable agent. She's not, on the cliffs of Sydney. She's in a beautiful spot over south of Perth, but doing incredible things that our model, I think, provides for her, like it does for someone that doesn't want to do such massive numbers, that just wants to work part-time. The opportunity's there, and as Lee grows her team and reduces perhaps her time, like she mentioned about maybe only doing 4 opens instead of 12, that's the ultimate goal, where you can just have that machine going, manage the people, look after them, look after your good clients. And I think that's the goal of a lot of our agents in eXp.
Brilliant. All right,
you.
folks. Well, that wraps us up. We're coming up to 40 minutes. Lee, thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any questions, Lee Smith, get in contact with her. She's your go-to person. But Tony, we're going to be back here on Thursday, 11:30 a.m. AED time. We've got Lisa B, who actually is part of our network, and she's going to look at it from a different perspective. So, folks, today you've seen it from a transactional agent point of view. Lisa B is actually off the transaction tools, and she's an attractor who is leveraging from this model and doing phenomenal things through attraction. So we wish you success and abundance, and we look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Lee, have a great day. Thanks for your time.
Lee.
Greatly appreciated.
Bye.